Hi grade 9s, this is the video 1 of algebraic equations. You can rule off after Pythag, you can write the date, and your heading is equations topic 9 exercise 1. Alright, so in this video we're only going to be dealing with linear equations. Linear equations is basically an equation where there's only one solution to the equation. So if you have a look at this example, I know that there's only going to be one solution because the exponent of x is 1. Okay, so because there's no exponent there, I can assume that the exponent is a 1, x to the power of 1. Alright, so if it's x to the power of 1, there's only one solution, so that's what we're expecting. Okay, so you can go ahead and write down this example. We're going to solve it now. Alright, so I've got 4x minus 2 equals 10. Okay, so I know that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 2 over. So I'm trying to get x alone on one side. So everything that is not x, I need to somehow move it to the other side of the equation. So in this case here, I'm trying to get 4x alone. So I'm going to take the negative 2 and I'm going to move it over and add it. So I'm going to have 10 plus 2, which will give me 12. Then I'm still trying to get x alone, but I'm saying 4 multiplied by x here. So in order to get rid of that multiplication, I need to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to divide through by 4. And if I divide through by 4, 12 divided by 4 will give me 3. So x is equal to 3. Let's try another equation. So you can write this one down and try it yourself. So you just pause the video. Okay, so for this equation, what I'm going to do is exactly the same thing I just did. So I'm going to take the 4 over the equal sign. I'm going to subtract it on that side, the right-hand side. So I'm going to have negative 6x is equal to negative 14 minus 4, which will give me negative 18. Then I still need to try and get x alone. So because I'm multiplying by negative 6, I'm going to divide through by negative 6 on both sides. And if I do that, on this side, the two negative 6's are going to cancel with each other. On this side here, negative divided by a negative is a positive. 18 divided by 6 is 3. All right, write down the next question, number 3. Okay, there are two ways to do number 3. The first way is you can say, all right, x is being divided by 3. So when I take the 3 over, I'm going to multiply by 3. Okay. So I'm going to say x is equal to 4 times 3, which is 12. Okay, or there's another way you could do it. You could get LCDs. Okay, so I know that 4 is the same as 4 over 1. Alright, if I'm looking for an LCD here, I know the LCD is going to be 3 because 3 goes into 3 and 1 goes into 3. So I would need to multiply this fraction here by 3 in order to find my LCD. So if I do that, I'm going to get 12 over 3, and then I can drop my LCD to find that x is equal to 12. Alright, I'm going to be working a lot with the second method because when things start getting a bit more complicated, you're going to need to know how to find an LCD and drop an LCD and all that. Alright, so it looks like it's more complicated now, but in the end it will actually be the less complicated method. Okay, copy down number 4, and I want you to try this one by yourself. Alright, number 4, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find I need to find my LCD, so I'm going to find my LCD, which is 2. Okay, this negative 2 over here, I've just put it over 1 because I know that I can write that over 1. So this left-hand fraction is already over 2, so I just need to make the right-hand fraction over 2, so I'm going to multiply both of those by 2. Whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. So if I multiply those both by 2, I'm going to get 4 over 2. Then I can drop my LCD. Okay, so if I drop my LCD, I'm going to have x minus 3 is equal to negative 4. I'm going to take the 3 over the equal sign and I'm going to add it. So I'm going to have minus 4 plus 3, which is negative 1. Alright, number 5 and number 6 you can try by yourself. So for number 5 and number 6, remember you need to distribute. So I'm going to say 2 times x, 2 times negative 5, and then you can solve the equation. Okay, so once you've distributed, you drop your brackets. So try those before you carry on with the video. Alright, so once I've distributed there, I've got 2x minus 10 is equal to 5. I'm going to move the 10 over the equal sign and add it, so I'm going to have 5 plus 10, which is 15. Once I've done that, I can divide through by 2 to get the x alone, and if I divide through by 2, I'm just going to leave it as the most simplified improper fraction, so 15 over 2. Okay, if you want to change it and you want to make it 7.5, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter. Alright, the next one I'm going to do the same thing, so I'm first going to distribute. So 7 will be distributed into the first bracket, 2 will be distributed into the second bracket. So I'm going to have 7x minus 7 is equal to 2x plus 6. Then I'm going to take my negative 7 over the equal sign and add it. And I'm going to bring my x's to the left-hand side. So I'm going to say, I'm going to bring the 2x over, so it'll become negative 2x. Alright, so if I write it, that's what it looks like. Then I'm going to simplify my like terms, so 7x minus 2x, that will give me 5x, and 6 plus 7 gives me 13. Then I still need to get my x alone, so I'm just going to divide through by 5, and if I do that, I'm going to get 13 over 5, which is the most simplified version. Okay, you don't need to change it to improper, to mixed numbers, you can just leave it as improper. Okay, let's move on to the next few. So there are 9 examples. Alright, number 7, I'm going to first start just by putting everything as a fraction. So generally, if you get stuff as fractions, then you must just keep it all as fractions for the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to put the negative 1 over 1. Then I need to find an LCD. Okay, so I know my LCD is going to be 4. So if I see, okay, what do I need to multiply the 2 by to get 4? I need to multiply by 2. This one here, I don't need to multiply anything. If you want to multiply by something, you would just multiply by 1. This one here I'm going to need to multiply by 4, and then the last one I don't need to multiply. Okay, so if I multiply all of those, I'm going to say x times 2 is 2x, and that's what I'm going to get for all my numerators. Okay, once I've done that and I've found my LCD, because I'm working with an equation, I can drop my LCD. So if I drop the 4 as an LCD, I'm just going to get the numerators, and then I'm going to move my negative 3 over the equal sign to add it. And if I add all of those, so minus 4 plus 5 plus 3, I'm going to get 4, divide through by your 2, and then you're going to get x is equal to 2. Number 8. Okay, number 8, again, not everything is a fraction, so I'm going to make everything a fraction by putting the 2 over 1. Then I need to find my LCD, so my LCD is going to be 12. Okay, so this fraction here I need to multiply by 4, this fraction here I need to multiply by 3, and this one here I need to multiply by 12. Okay, so watch how I write that middle fraction. That one there is easy, right? You just write 4x. This one here, I'm going to put this whole thing in brackets, and I'm going to move the 3 to the front. So I'm actually going to be distributing in a negative 3. So have a look. So that's how I've put the 3. I put the 3 in front of the bracket, and then I'm going to have to distribute that negative 3 into the bracket. But first I'm going to drop my LCD. So that's what I've done there. Now I'm going to distribute, so negative 3 times 2x, negative 3 times negative 1. And now I can just solve, so 4x minus 6x, that gives me negative 2x. I'm going to bring the 3 over to make it negative 3. And then I can solve that, so 24 minus 3, that gives me 21. And then I just divide through by negative 2 to get x alone. Okay, again, left in its most simplified improper fraction. Alright, the last question that we're going to do is number 9, so just copy it down. Okay, so number 9 looks a lot more complicated than it is. It's actually not complicated. So I'm going to start by doing what I did with everything. I'm going to make the things that aren't fractions into fractions. So the bracket, I'm going to put it over 1. Then I know because I've got a bracket next to a number, I'm multiplying. So when I multiply fractions, I'm going to multiply my numerators by my numerators and denominators by denominators. So I'm going to say 2 times 2x, 2 times negative 4, and then at the bottom, I'm just going to say 3 times 1. Okay, so if you do that, that's what you're going to get. So 4x minus 8 over 3 is equal to 4 over 5. Next, I would need to find an LCD, which I can see there is going to be 15. So this fraction here, I would need to multiply by 5, and then that second fraction, I would need to multiply by 3 to get the LCD as 15. Alright, so have a look at what that looks like. So again, I've put this numerator in brackets because there's two terms there that need to be multiplied by the 5. So 5 times 4x, 5 times negative 8. Okay, so once you've distributed that 5 into the bracket and you've dropped your LCD, that's what you're going to get. So 20x minus 40 is equal to 12. I take my 40 over to add it. So 12 plus 40, which will give me 52. And then I can just divide through by the 20 to get x alone. And notice now I needed to simplify that fraction because it wasn't in its most simplified form. Alright, so that's the first video of this section. For homework, I would like you to do exercise 9.1 on page 77 and these questions here. Okay, if you don't have your textbook, I've put it in here. Okay, good luck. If there's any questions, then just let me know.